What's up, y'all? You just heard the beat that I made today in the latest episode of Queso Cookups, a live stream series. We're gonna go over the basics of how that beat is constructed right now. So we started off with a little intro. I'm using Massive, which is a synthesizer here. So this is what we've got, a little synth pattern. So we've got one layer which is just a synth. And then down here we also have a bass. And then after those, drops in the whole beat. For starters, we have a kick. So that's going along with the synths. And then we can bring in a clap. Alright, that's pretty good, but it doesn't really have that jittery bounce that you kind of would recognize on a Playboi Carti track. So what we do to do that is, you guessed it, the hi-hats. Here's with the hi-hats. So what you'll notice with the hi-hats is they only repeat every, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they only repeat every 2 bars, and the pattern in the first bar versus the second bar is quite different. So that's one thing that gives it that bounce and that variation, is that the hi-hats are not the same. There's quite a big gap right here, so that's gonna give it that feeling where you're vibing like this, and then there's a little part where you kind of take a breather, right? And then also in here on the velocity, you can see I noticed in the Carti beats that the hi-hats are not all the same volume, and that's another part of it that gives it that little bounce, right? So you can see I've brought the velocity down of some of these. What you might also notice is this is a nice little loop, but it is missing a little bit of percussive energy that is usually in like a Carti style beat. So one thing that gives it that is these little snares that come in. That tut tut. Alright, and there's also another kind of snare that comes at the end of every 2 bars. So the cut, cut, cut. And it has a different texture, right? It's less of a thick snare. It's more of a rim shot, you know, like it would sound if you hit the rim of the snare. So that's what we got, and then the only thing we're missing is 808s, right? 808s. Let's bring them in. So one thing about the 808s is they don't hit on every kick. There's a big gap here in the kick pattern where there's no kick and it's just 808s. That's another thing that's going to give it that sort of off and on, party, wavy, vibey feel, right? So the last 2 hits of the 808, here, the last 3 hits, and here the last 1 hit, there's no kick with it. So it gives you a feeling because of the 808, but it doesn't punch the same way. So that's going to contribute to that kind of off kilter, like wavy bounce. So now with everything. And And then one thing about the synths is there's two different patterns being played, right? So there's this one. That's more of a sort of thick sound. I came in here with an overdrive, and I boosted with the overdrive up here at the top, which gave it that kind of biting sound that you hear in a lot of like Playboi Carti, Yeet, those style, tracks. Gives it that high energy. And then we also have another synth here that's playing a counter melody to that synth. And this synth sounds a little more like wobbly, right? And what I did to get that is basically, I came in here, I have this sound. So it's essentially the same as this. It's very similar. But instead I have a filter on it. And the filter is connected to this envelope right here. So number 2 envelope, number 2 is right here. I've connected it here. And what it does is this ramp right here is, so I dragged it down from here down to here. So the ramp is actually going from here to here, which is taking the filter and bringing it from a high frequency to a low frequency. So if you heard it without the envelope, it would be like this. So what the filter is doing is, with the envelope, it's automatically doing that in this pattern right here. So if I change the attack, it'll take longer. And if I shorten the attack, it'll happen faster. So what I had noticed is in the Carti track that I was trying to duplicate is that there was a synth in there that had sort of a little bite at the start of it that had that pew, pew, and so this is how I was able to sort of replicate that sound a little bit. Right, so that's what we have, and now we'll just run it back from the top one time. So there you go, y'all. That's your Playboi Carti beat breakdown. Let me know if you like stuff like this, or if there's something about this that you'd like me to go into more depth on. Let's say you want to know more about the synth design, or you want to know more about how I was able to identify those different percussion parts that should come in, or how I was able to pick the right sounds. I can go into all of that. Let me know if you liked this, if you want to see more Playboi Carti type beat breakdowns, or if you have a particular song in particular that you'd like me to try and reproduce the beat to, because I could also do that. And yeah, so let me know what y'all want. If you want any other kind of artist other than Playboi Carti, like that you want me to try and reproduce their beat, I'm open to any beat that you want to know. I'll try it out. So peace.